Welcome to the interview for the electrical engineer position. I will ask you questions, and you can respond verbally. Describe a time you had to troubleshoot a complex circuit with limited documentation. What was your approach?
So, I remember a few years ago, I was working on a project that was about switch mode power supply, and then I had a circuit which I had no documentation of it about it at all. But what I did was I more like reverse engineered the circuit. I picked up the circuit, looked at everything about it from the input to the output, drew out the circuit diagram by looking at it and did more like reverse engineering. And then I did a study about switch mode power supply and the systems and how they worked. So with that, after reverse engineering the circuit, I was able to pick what I got, and then did more research about switch mode power supply, and I was able to link everything together, and then was able to build the system and brought it back to life.
How would you design a power distribution system for a small office building, considering energy efficiency and future expansion?
So if I'm designing a power distribution system for a small office building, considering energy efficiency and future expansion, I think first off I more like do some more like a survey in the company, and then I ask what are the things they have in the company, like the load they have. Let's assume the company just has like two staffs that uses 65 watts of charger. So I know like or let's assume they use like a big PC that runs like on 100 watt each of them. So I know the maximum load for this particular office is 200 watts. But now if I add things like the bulb, the fan, let's assume they have a TV, I'm going to use this to calculate all the entire load in the office, and then um know the maximum amount of power used in the office, and add extra power, like extra more like, let's assume I want to add like extra 500 watts for future expansion. Like let's assume in future we're expecting more staff to join, um and with that we know like that's gonna last the test of time, and we are gonna prevent things like um too much load and the rest of the thing. But it more like depends on the particular office, and the approach may be different for each of them.
Explain a situation where you disagreed with a design decision made by a senior engineer. How did you handle it?
So there are times when you're working with a senior engineer, yeah, while they are seniors, there are times where they make like little, let's assume, um
You're part of a team developing a new electric vehicle charger. A critical component is delayed. How do you mitigate the impact on the project timeline?
I think if I'm part of a team designing electrical vehicle charger, and then a particular most important component is delayed, what I do is I try to find if I can source the component from a local environment. Let's assume we bought the component from China or abroad. I've got to like check around for around if there are like local places I can get it. But if they are not, most of the time, people do fall back to checking scrap circuits if they could find the component, at least to test the product and get the prototype working while waiting for um, the main thing to come, the main, maybe a reordered component to arrive. With this, we can more like make the timeline of the project a little bit shorter.
Tell me about a project where you applied your knowledge of electromagnetic compatibility, EMC, to reduce interference issues.
Um, I've not I've not really had to work on this particular project yet, but I've done a little research about it, and I've done like some circuit studies about it. And if I have project in future where I can get to apply this, I would be so happy, and I look forward to learning more about it practically.
The interview is now complete. Thank you for your time.